Today we're talking about entropy, and we all know that energy of all types disperses if it's not hindered from doing so. Um, Entropy is often described as a measurement of disorder. Well, the word disorder itself is really hard for students to wrap their minds around. So, entropy is a measure of energy that is disturbed. And in chemistry, we're talking about the kind of energy that entropy measures, which is your motional energy. So this is the colliding and the hitting of the molecules together. So the atoms are moving through the bonds, and the changes that take place are things like fusion and vaporization. So entropy is really just a way that we are measuring energy that is spread out at a constant temperature or at an increased temperature. So in effect, entropy is how much energy is dispersed and how it is spread out. So we know that a solid will melt to a liquid, or a liquid boils to a gas, and these are things that we call phasal changes. So entropy increases when more energy is spread out in a substance, and the increase in entropy is always greater than the decrease. So energy spontaneously spreads out if not hindered, and entropy increases when it becomes more dispersed and spread out. So you have entropy leads to the dispersal of matter and energy, and in your matter, you're looking at your phase changes, and then you look at the different moles that are in the molecules and see how they are separated out, and you look at the gases. And then in your energy, you look at the gases and the temperature. So a higher entropy is always more likely because energy, if it has the opportunity to spread out, it will. So ice will melt. If you put creamer in your coffee, it will mix in. Tires will deflate if you puncture them because these states have more displaced energy than the originals. So really, entropy is just the dispersal of energy. So if I were to spill a glass of water, you have increased entropy of this isolated system. So it will not magically just go back into the glass. It increases, it is irreversible, and that would take a lot of work if you were trying to put that water back into the glass. It could be done, but it would be a whole lot of work. So it is an irreversible process when we're talking about entropy. And if you think about it that way, I think it's easier to understand. So the increase, if there's an increase in entropy, it doesn't move back. So if you're in an isolated system, entropy never decreases. So some examples I might use would be a broken egg. If I took an egg and I dropped it from the top of a roof and it hit the ground, that egg is not going to, it's going to disperse. It's not going to go back together and be whole again. If I had white and black sand, and some people I've seen have done this with salt and pepper, but we just did a lesson on black sand created from volcanic eruptions. So if you took black and white sand side by side and you started to slowly mix those together, they would start get integrated together. But I couldn't reverse the counterclockwise and automatically undo that. It's still going to stay mixed together. And we know that ice melts if we add more water. Ice that melts. I said that wrong. Ice that melts. If we added more water, it's not going to go back to ice. So I think those would be some good examples to use in the classroom. So entropy increases when more energy is spread out in a substance, and the increase in entropy is greater than the decrease. So I look forward to any of your comments. I am not taught on this subject, and I'm ready to learn more about it. Thank you.